This is, people are fighting a culture war here. Both Pat Buchanan and Susan, they're fighting a culture war. And what they're basically advancing is a gigantic conspiracy theory. Their gigantic conspiracy theory is that the leaders of all the main governments in the Western world and hundreds of climate scientists are prepared to perpetrate a scientific hoax, and their explanation is that they have an agenda to take control of the economy somehow through this green hoax. That's what they're advocating. And if you think about that for 2 minutes, it's nuts, because in fact, if it's true that they're going, listen. I just think it's bad. It is nuts. It is. I'll tell you why it's nuts. Because if you think about it for 2 seconds, the policies that politicians will have to impose on voters to fix climate change, if that's what they want to do, will be incredibly unpopular. You're going to have to tell people to get out of their cars, to turn down their heating, to do all these unpopular things. Why on earth do you think the regime, as you call it, really wants to do all these incredibly unpopular things?
Why are the Europeans themselves, who are paying a more of a cost than anyone else, they are backing away from what they did?
Because it's politically painful, which is exactly
they wouldn't do that if they believe.
It is politically agony to do something about climate change.
Your hysteria.
What about that?
It's politically agony to do this. So the best explanation for doing it is that you believe the science.
Let's be orderly about
that. I believe they believe the science. I just think they're believing in bad science. I don't think it's a hoax of any kind.
You know, there's probably more than one thing causing climate change. Excuse me. Certainly, some of it is the emission of greenhouse gases, which are clearly having an effect. I mean, the winters are, if I may say, shorter and warmer. The summers are longer and hotter. There are all kinds of other indications that something is going on in the weather. So I think there is some validity to it. I don't know how much. It's very difficult to measure, but I think it's something.
We had the worst winter I can imagine. Now, let me talk to your point. There's no doubt there's global warming of some sense happen. There is climate change going on, but the idea that it is proven science that what is going on is going to cause these disasters that John just put on the screen is ridiculous. People don't believe. You're walking around Times Square with a sandwich board on.
Listen to me. Stop throwing sort of anecdotes about weather at each other. The scientific, you know, the vast majority of the scientific establishment and all of these elected governments are saying something very unpopular, which is we've got a very painful problem to grapple with. Why do you think that's happening? Why are they saying that? Why do you think they're saying that?
Why were the skeptics silenced in ClimateGate in your own country?
Why do you think hundreds of scientists would say it was a big problem?
Why are they silencing the skeptics?
It's a plot. You think it's a conspiracy?
I think there's no doubt many of them believe it, but I don't think it's proven completely.
Let me get some statistics.
To follow on what was just said, I think there is by and large, an overwhelming consensus in the scientific community that something is going on in the weather that affects that is affected by greenhouse gas emissions. It's floods. It's going to affect our lives. It's going to affect our future. We've got to take it into account. So I just do not think you can just dismiss it.
Do you know how to stop all this? I mean, do you really believe that these scientists are going to stop? They couldn't even predict that global warming would stop in 1997, and we haven't had it for 15 years.
Here's one way of approaching it. Is you approach it like an insurance problem. I mean, this is, you know, the Economist magazine. This is our position.
The cost of the premium for this insurance policy is unbelievable.
But the cost of doing nothing. That's the whole point of insurance.
Know that?
Premiums are expensive, but as a business, I mean, you know this in your business,
if
you didn't insure any of your buildings, then you're exposing yourself to a far greater risk.
As we say in life, you don't take the slightest risk of a catastrophic outcome.
The thing is,
I don't know whether the outcome is catastrophic or not.
Suppose the premium of your insurance policy is half of everything you got.
This would be
if I could avoid a catastrophe, I would pay it.
Are you sure you could avoid the catastrophe?
You're never sure of these things. That is always the point about
insurance. Hold on. You're not sure. Why are you going to make us do it?